Well, welcome to week number 9 of the Tailgate Game Day Show. Glad to be with you on another week as we examine the sports around the lake area. Well, it's fall, as you can see, and pretty much the end of the season is going to be here for all the fall sports here at the lake. Congratulations to the girls golf team at Osage. We're talking to School of the Osage. We're going to be talking with them and Coach Travis Squire. Also going to talk to Coach Travis Dinsdale, and he's the coach of the softball team over at Camdenton. This weekend, they're on their quest for their own state championship. And then Coach Austin Walker of the volleyball team at Camdenton. We're going to check in with her. And then Rick Hasty. We're going to talk some college sports and what's going on in college football. And then head on over to Osage and talk to the coach over there with the football team. And they're having a good run, but yet it's been kind of tough. They've had some losses along the way. We're talking about Shannon Jolley. Thanks so much for going on this ride with us for this fall season of the Tailgate Game Day Show. It's been fun to bring it to you and kind of bring to light some of the area sports here at the Lake of the Ozarks. Now let's go to the Tailgate Game Day Show. Well, we're in the Commons area of the Osage High School, and this is part of the state championship golf team. Coach, it's got to feel really good.
Oh, I'm so proud. I'm kind of floating on cloud 9 and exhausted at the same time. It was a long weekend, but well worth it.
You know, we started at the beginning with you guys. We went to that golf course up off KK, and you guys were practicing. And the first interview with Hannah, and she had a couple of goals, and one goal was to win state for the team. The second goal was to win number 1 state for herself individual. She achieved both. You almost got to have chills up and down your spine.
Oh, yeah. Watching her finish up her back 9 yesterday was kind of a roller coaster. She was in a dogfight with that young lady that came in second. And
that came down to match play, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, it did. After the front 9, it really did come down to 2 players. And I knew she could do it. And to watch her come in and finish up with a easy 3-putt bogey to win that was amazing.
You know, I'm watching it online. I went down there on Monday, and then on Tuesday I'm watching it online, and Hannah was down. She was in second, and there's Sophia, and they're back and forth, and it's like, you know, if she's had any dogfight in her, and I think Hannah's got that inside of her, and she did it. She pulled it out.
Oh, yeah, it was great. And I don't know that there's a more deserving kid, a hard worker, a girl who's just really does the work in the off season. So kudos to Hannah.
All right. 2 of the other gals here, India and Kit, and I went down there Monday. You guys were playing, and the whole Lake of the Ozarks, we're really proud of you. India, how's it feel to be a state champion?
It feels really good, especially my freshman and sophomore year, just coming right at it, and I'm excited for next year with Kit. It's going to be sad that we don't have Hannah and Sophie. Hopefully we can fill in those big spots. So
a lot of time at the driving range.
A lot of time at the putting green, too.
Okay, Kit, how's it feel? You are a state champion.
It feels pretty good. It was really fun to end out the season for Hannah and Sophie on a really good note.
Okay, I saw you both on the back 9 there. I don't know, was it like maybe 15 or 16 or somewhere in that?
16.
Yeah, somewhere in that area there. And the most interesting item that I saw on that course kit was a railroad track right in the middle.
Yeah, it was actually really cool. I think the first day or second day when I was warming up for my tee time, we saw a train go by, and it was really cool.
Okay, India, you're pulling in the Twin Lakes, is it?
Twin Hills.
Twin Hills Golf Course. absolutely the clubhouse is beautiful.
It was really pretty, and the course overall was really pretty. The grass is a lot different than any grass that I've played on, so it was kind of hard to figure that out, but after I practiced around, it seemed a little bit more comfortable for me.
What was your first thought when you went and you saw the lodge there and everything and you're getting ready to play? It's like, we're playing here, they're treating us right.
Yeah, it was very well kept, and it was very old-fashioned, which I really liked about a country club.
How did you handle the trip down? That's 3 hours down and 3 hours back. Now, you stayed there probably Monday night, didn't you?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you don't remember where you stayed Monday night?
I just know that we played 3 rounds of golf and we won.
It was in the back of somebody's truck.
Yeah. Or a van.
I can tell you they talked and laughed and were a great team all the way down. That's one thing that this group of girls never had a problem with, is getting along and finding camaraderie and friendship together. So that's kind of part of, I think, the success of this team was these girls Monday night after their first round were down in the lobby of the hotel playing dominoes, laughing and giggling, and we'd gone out to eat Sunday night and shared photos and laughs. And you can't play golf being stressed out. You've got to have fun, and these girls know how to have fun.
Okay, I'm going to get his reaction to this question after I ask you, Kit. You got new clubs before the end, and we talked with you, and Coach says, I'm not so sure. We're getting ready for conference play and district play and state play. Not the time to do it. How was your adjustment?
Well, I didn't hit them. Actually, I just used my old clubs that I had been hitting all season, and I just made the executive decision to just start with new clubs in the off season, starting today actually, so we'll see how that goes.
And was it just because you're listening to all those little voices that were in there, or you just looked inside yourself? It's like, these are the clubs that got me here. This is what's going to get me through.
Well, I knew what was comfortable. I knew what lengths and how I had to hit it and all this stuff. It takes a lot of strategy to figure out how to hit which club and how to get this sort of distance and this sort of angle on it. So.
Okay, Coach, you remember saying that on tape and just saying, I'm not so sure about this.
Yeah, and I think all of these girls have their safety clubs, and that's what you want in your hand when you're stressed out. And I was with Kit quite a bit of time on the course, and she left her driver in the bag because it just wasn't comfortable. And I could tell after she tried it a couple of times that she didn't have comfort with it. So, and she was hammering her hybrid down the fairways as long as her opponents were hitting their driver. So, why mess with what's working? Don't fix what's not broken.
Do you feel comfortable about everything now, India?
I do, and especially after having all those tournaments in the summer and in the season and having all these girls to encourage me, I feel a lot more comfortable.
So what are you going to do in the off season now?
Practice a lot.
Any goals now? All right, you've been through this now. You're a state champion. Goals for next year?
It would be really nice to place next year at state individually. That's definitely a big goal of mine, so just working towards that.
So seeing Hannah and Sophie hit that number 1 and the number 3 in the individuals, which is a big deal, by the way. Mm-hmm. You're now saying, you know what, individually I'm going to score well, and then that's going to raise up the whole team.
Yeah, I think so. They take the top 13, isn't it?
Top 15.
Top 15 scores. So they had a tie for 13th. I think that's why it was. Three-way tie. So it would be really nice. And I think me and Kit were close, not super close, but we were pretty close to placing.
Yeah, I think you're within 3, like a 24-27 or something of that nature, I think. Okay, Kit, what are you going to do in the off season and your goal for next year?
Well, I plan to work with about 1 to 2 golf pros throughout the winter. I'm in the
I suggest go to Florida.
Yeah, me too, actually. I am hoping to get a golf simulator at my house. But not only just that, during the summer I'm going to do MGA, and whenever I travel to Ohio to see my family, I'm going to squeeze in rounds there to see different kinds of courses.
There are outstanding courses in Ohio. I grew up in Northeast Ohio around Cleveland, Akron, and all, so I know from experience there's some gorgeous courses up there.
Oh, yeah, and one of the things that India had mentioned that we were playing on a type of grass that we're not used to playing on around here. We get spoiled on zoysia grass, and these girls struggled adjusting And not just these girls, everyone struggled adjusting to that Bermuda grass on Twin Hills. It was thick. It was nice, but it's different. And the more golf courses you play, the more well-rounded you're going to be and wiser on the golf course.
Okay, Kit, final thought.
Yeah, that grass was it just messed with my chipping, really. Everything else was fine. It's just my chipping that really got me. But it was such a surreal moment to see all of my teammates just end out on their last holes, because I was the first tee time to go off. So I was running back and forth between 9 to see India finish and then 18 to see Hannah and Sophie finish. So it was really cool.
All right, final thought, India.
I was going to just say what Kit said. I was just really happy with how it went, and I couldn't have asked for a better team and teammates to play with and coaches as well.
Yeah.
All right. Final thought, Coach? It's going to be hard to do a three-peat.
Well, the pressure is off for this year. I felt it. I know that these girls and our other two felt it as well. The pressure of, hey, you guys have got this. You won last year. You've got this. And that's just not how it works. And that they kept the wheels on for 2 days and got it done, brought it home. Our school's proud. I'm proud of them. It was a great moment.
Well, we here at the Lake of the Ozarks and for the broadcast team at KRMS, we are extremely proud of all of you and the other two that are not here. But congratulations, you brought it home.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Guy.
We'll be back. We're here with Tyler Dinsdale. He's the coach of the softball team of Camdenton. I'm telling you, this is a great day.
It is. It's a good day to be on the coaching staff right now of this team, for sure.
And following you all season, we started at the very beginning, and we remember some of the first people we talked to, Zoe and Caden, and they came through. Let's see. Let's recap. You were in Bolivar.
Mm-hmm.
First game, 15-0.
15-0. Yep.
Second game, 10-2, and then last night it was a 10-7 victory.
Correct. Yeah, we've had our offense has really been clicking quite a bit. So last night we played Marshfield. Marshfield was a really good team. They could hit the ball really well, which is why that just shows in the scores, 10-7. But offensively, we've just kind of been on a tear, which is we told the girls in the middle that we were gonna. At the end, we're going to be going in the right direction. That's where we're kind of heading right now. So it's good. It's a good time.
You know, and teams do that. They have these hills and valleys, and you want to, okay, if you got some slumps, you want them more toward the middle, so then you start peaking toward the end.
Yeah, and that's something that we told them. In the middle of the season, even towards the latter part, said our best softball days are ahead of us, and the girls have kind of bought into that, and they see it on the field, and they're ready to go, so it's good.
You know, it was funny because I was down in Bolivar for the second game, and when you were playing Bolivar, I was up in the press box. And so the people were putting down the score and everything, and that's when you were like 3-1, then it was 5-1. And then you guys started really attacking and going, and then the scorer turned around and goes, "Do you mind leaving so we can win?"
Yeah, that's every now and then we've got an issue about we kind of wait a few innings before we start hitting, and Bolivar game was kind of one of them. But once we kind of get going, once we see the pitcher enough times and get an idea of the speed, then we're going to be pretty hard to beat.
Do you remember what you told the girls after that game before you did the Marshfield game about starting slow and let's get going at the beginning?
Yeah, I said this is our typical Camdenton Lakers softball game. Start off slow and then finish up quick at the end. Said that hopefully Marshfield game will start off faster, and we scored the first inning and kind of went from there, so that worked out.
How are the girls feeling right now?
They're cloud nine would be a good way to put it. They are pretty ecstatic. We had I shouldn't say we had two goals, but we had two of our main goals were conference champions, and we were co-conference champions. Another one was another district championship. So we've got about 2 of our 3 left. Well, one more, that would be to make the state championship game. So they're feeling really good, excited, ready to go, and excited for Saturday.
Yeah, this is states now, and so you have to kind of harness all that energy of excitement and now regroup them and say, wait a minute, we're not done.
Correct, and we've kind of put the mentality as far as district and state and the girls probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. We've kind of been playing with a you lose, we're done type attitude, even in a regular season game, just to kind of get the girls in that mindset that, hey, we need to fight through all the way. And that's kind of showed in some of our last games. We played against Sedalia Smith Cotton. I think that We either went to the 10th or the 11th inning in that game. Came back and won that game pretty handily on that. So it's just something that they know we lose, that we're done, and they know that they've got goals that they haven't met yet. So they're really playing like that, and it's showing.
The seniors, they do know that if they lose, it is done. Their career here in high school as far as softball's done now. The juniors and sophomores, it's a little bit different. But you can kind of tell the excitement with like Zoe and Caden and some of the first girls that we talked to.
Oh, yeah. Especially with Zoe. Zoe's a ball of energy wherever you put. We got another senior that starts out there, Addie Clay. She bats leadoff for us. So, I mean, 2 of our 3 first hitters are seniors. They do a really good job, and they just bring an energy, camaraderie that they've been playing with each other for ever. So they just have that same vibe that they've got going on. It's really fun to be around right now.
And I think we talked with Addie last time, and she just says, I just like stealing bases.
Yeah, she does. She's the school record holder. She broke that last year, didn't get quite as many this year, but she does, and she's good. Shows last night, we had a few plays where she stole a few bases last night for us, and we were able to play small ball on times when we needed it. We were down 7-5 going to the 6th inning, so trying to get some runs across the board, and then that just kind of get the ball in play and see what happens. And then fortunately for us, that led to a lot more runs. But her running, her small ball, stuff like that really helps out quite a bit.
And you know they're still kids. And you know that because when they get off the field and they won against Bolivar, the first words were, where are we going to eat?
Oh, yeah, yeah. And usually a gas station. If they're riding back with me, we're stopping at either a nice gas station or maybe Taco Bell. If there's a Qdoba on the way, we will, but not a lot of the schools that we play at have that type of stuff. So find a nice gas station and get back home.
Okay, now we're in the middle of the week, and this is going to air on a Friday. What's your schedule between now and Saturday as far as your thinking in practice?
I've thought about that quite a bit. Today we'll probably focus on defense. We'll go through all of our walkthroughs, our infield, outfield, kind of a few different rotations where we might see some different girls playing some different spots. Tomorrow we're going to have, it'll be more of a batting day. That'll kind of get all of our scouting prep done. We've got a lot of stuff that we're trying to put down on paper right now for as far as Helias, kind of forming a pitching plan for them. So that'll be more of a Friday practice. We'll go through there and kind of do a quasi walkthrough on what's going to happen for the first 9 to 10 batters that we think we might face in a specific order. Pitchers where they're going to pitch them, defense where they're going to play, kind of the mentality on what we're going to happen in different situations. We'll put the girls in different situations, and so we'll have more of a walkthrough practice on Friday, and then get there at 11 o'clock, hitting practice at 11:30, infield outfield at 12:40, and game at 1 o'clock. So that's my plan for this entire week.
Okay, then after Saturday, I think it's like the 26th, I think it is.
Thursday.
Like it's a Thursday. Now, is it a Thursday, Friday, or a Thursday, Saturday?
It kind of depends what happens the first game. It's a Thursday-Friday tournament, so if you win the first game, you play Thursday, and then you play Friday. If you lose the first game, you play 2 games on Thursday. Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks.
And thank you.
We'll be back. We're talking with Coach Austin Walker here of the volleyball team of Camdenton. How you doing, Coach?
We're doing great.
And you're just finishing up your season. You maybe have already finished it up, and you're getting ready for district play.
Yeah, we actually play tonight. First round of districts, we go to Jeff City High School, and we get to play Jeff City at Jeff City in the first round. So we're looking forward to a good matchup.
All right. Now, you know the pressure's on you guys. And I only say that because you know what the softball team did.
Yeah.
They won districts last night.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Super excited for Coach Dinsdale and all those girls. It was an exciting game to watch. So now it's our turn. We're excited to get a shot at it. And super winnable district this year when you look at the matchups that you have going on. I watched the first round games last night on the other side of the bracket. And it's just who's going to show up and who's going to compete. So anybody can win on any day.
You know, it is so fun, and I've shared this with you before, is that, you know, we're following certain teams this year.
Right.
And it's nice to see that the competition level, that the athletes are rising to the occasion. We just saw it with the softball team here at the Lakers. The girls' golf team of Osage, they took state.
Yeah.
This is the 2nd year in a row.
Yeah. Super neat to see Lake Area sports represented and to kind of get to know those kids because when you think about the Springfield schools, we kind of don't exist down in their world, so our coverage is kind of minimum. So we are thankful that you took the time to take care of all of us down here to make us feel important too.
Well, and you are important, and that's the thing. Just because we're stuck in the middle of the state doesn't mean that you're stuck in the middle of the state, but there are some stars here in the middle of the state.
Yeah, we have some good kids on all facets at Camdenton High School, and a lot of cool things that get to go on. Like you said, the golf, at Osage, that's incredible to win too. Softball, our girls' softball team's kicking. And it's just really neat what our kids do and to see them accomplish those things.
Okay, you got the match tonight at Jeff City. Game plan in your mind, what's going on? Because this is going to air on Friday, so we'll know the results after the fact, but you've already got a game plan in your head.
Yeah, I told the girls last night, we got a 7 seed, stubbed our toe quite a bit, at the beginning of the year. So seeds don't matter right now. Who's going to show up and who's going to play. Game plan is we've got to be more aggressive. We've got to serve them out of system, make their setters play a lot of defense. If we can do that, we can get them out of system and not let them run the middle attack like they like to run. We talked about, in practice this week, you don't have to just get a slam, a kill, that about breaks the floor, but in just outsmarting teams and finding their holes and finding their weaknesses and exploiting them and being able to adjust. If they start picking up a tip that we're throwing down, being able to find, another way to score points. So, and a bigger thing for us too is minimizing errors. So just playing aggressive, having fun while doing it. Because sometimes about this time, the pressure of it, the kids lose focus and lose sight of, of the game. And it's just supposed to be fun and just playing relaxed tonight.
And talking with the gals from golf and talking with the gals from softball at Addie and Madison and things, Addie mentioned, she says, I don't want to play outside my head. I want to make sure that I stay focused but stay loose as well.
That's huge, the mental game.
And for a senior to recognize that.
Absolutely. We talk about in volleyball, it's so much about the mental game, who has the momentum at the time, and just kind of controlling the things that we can control. We've always kind of preached that all year, and lately we've done a really good job of being in control of our side, ourself, and not necessarily worrying about what's happening over there. If we can worry about that, you cut back on your errors, and mentally you're in a great headspace. You're focused on what your job is, what's coming next. That's what we've been working a lot on.
And then the battle at the lake, and I bring that up because it was 25-23, but at the same time, the Lady Lakers, they had to dig down, and they had to say, we're going to win this thing and have perseverance. Yeah,
as a coach, you always like those matches where you feel like you're in control, you feel comfortable. Nobody got rattled. We kind of just stuck to what we know best and just kind of battled our way back, and that was a great turning point for us, in that game. And then we saw in a couple games after that we could beat some people. You could, when your back's against the wall, stick to your plan. We could grind it out and do that.
Well, win, lose, or draw, we're going to connect up with you again next week, and it might be the final week. It'll be the wrap-up week for the show.
Hopefully we're district champions this time next week, so we're looking forward to a great matchup.
And if you are district champions, then we'll continue to go all the way to state.
Absolutely. We're excited for that. Thank you.
Well, we're here with Coach Shannon Jolley. He's the head football coach of the Osage football team. How are you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing outstanding.
You are flying fast right now. And before we even get to the interview, just kind of share this exciting news that you do every year. It's an event, and I think it's really nice.
Well, we're just this Thursday we've invited all of our tackle football players in, and that goes from 4th grade, 5th, and 6th to our middle school players, all the way up to our varsity. So when we get done with pregame tonight, we'll have we really have a huge tailgate or barbecue with these kids, and they get to be involved in our sticker ceremony. We give individual stickers out to put on their kids' helmets, for their weekly accomplishments and from the previous week's games. So to have all those kids, we're looking at having close to 200 football players in our program here tonight, and to celebrate a little bit, and it's just a good way to pull everybody together.
That's a fantastic way to end the season, but it's good camaraderie, and the young people, the young 4th graders, as you mentioned, they're looking up to the high school kids, and they're your future players.
Well, and I think that's one thing that we've done a really good job of is to, mesh those years. We work with the OFL, our youth football, And I got the opportunity to help with it and help manage it. And it's nice to get in the other buildings and see those kids and get their names with faces. And, we've had an outstanding year with our youth football league. I know our 6th grade team is undefeated in their league. 5th grade, I think, only has 1 loss or 2 losses. And then even our middle school this year was a cool story. In 6th grade, they only won 1 game in the 6th grade in their league. And then this year, they've only lost 1 game. They were 5-1. And so it just shows to say, if you stay involved and stay tuned in, success will be there.
Southern Boone last week, it was a trip up there, and came out on the short end of the stick, but the kids still played well.
We played well at times. I'm not over it yet, but I'm kind of over talking about it. And what I mean by that is just, we just didn't.
I guess I should have come on Monday.
It's okay. We just didn't play well, and we had an opportunity up there. I think we imposed our will in certain areas. And I mean that with all due respect from Southern Boone, they outplayed us. A lot of our stuff was self-inflicted, and I was just really frustrated because I think we had an opportunity to do things, and I don't think we took advantage of it, and that was a frustrating situation for us.
Yeah, and we can see that, and we understand that. Now, the takeaways from that, as you're looking forward to Lutheran South, and that's a trip up there. We're going like to St. Louis.
Yeah, it's uncharted waters. I mean, somebody said the other day, like, well, how do you match up? And I go, Matt, are you talking about matching up here, if we're here at the Lake of the Ozarks, or matching up with 10th, 11th, and 12th graders riding 3 hours on a bus?
Yeah, we might as well go to Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I love our kids and what we do. Our kids play hard. I think it's important to them, but we're still not at the level of preparation where I want them to be yet, and so we'll see. But what a cool opportunity to go somewhere a little bit unknown, creates a little bit of anxiety, but a little of interest, and I'm looking forward to going with our kids. Sometimes it's nice to get away from the lake a little bit.
Okay, now you've done your scouting reports and you've seen what Lutheran South, how they play and all. So their offense and your defense, what are you talking about?
Well, their offense, I mean, they have a real dynamic quarterback and a really talented running back that they'll flex out and put him in the wing position and some stuff like that. But it's a 1-7 team, but they've played in the likes of MICDS. They played Lutheran North. They play some really good teams in St. Louis. So trying to compare, I think we represent ourselves well as far as a matchup. And up front and some of the schematic things that we do in our run game, I think we can have some success. But again, I mean, it's going to be it'll be a different task because it's just an unknown opponent.
So you're saying basically on paper it looks like it's going to be a good matchup, but it's all in the execution.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, like I said, with the travel and stuff involved, but and you also don't know. We've had limited amount of film on them compared to some of the teams that we see in our conference. We put all of our film together. So, but it's the same thing, I think, for them, trying to defend and work against us. So it'll just be interesting to see what team I think is mentally prepared to play a Week 9 game.
Okay, their defense now against your offense, you're going to be attacking.
Yeah, I just think I think we need to continue to. We had a lot of success. We had 340 yards offense against Southern Boone, so it wasn't like we didn't have an offensive output. It was just turnovers. I mean, again, through the passing game, we had 2 interceptions, and then. But for the most part, we moved the ball on them and did some things. But, we just have to clean up self-inflicted penalties and some turnovers through the air and some better decisions, and I think we should be in good shape. Okay,
now you're going up to Lutheran South this year. Are they coming back here next year? Is this a 2-year contract?
No, it's just a 1-year deal. It's when Versailles bounced out of our conference and really kind of left us in a tough situation. And so we picked up this Week 9 game with them. We were fortunate to have it. That's why we were willing to travel. Next year at this time we'll be playing St. Francis Borgia. And so we'll be playing that game next year.
All right. Now, any injuries?
No, actually, we're getting Noah Stevens back, who had a concussion last week. And I was talking to somebody about that today. We have a backup linebacker that's going to be back with us. We've been blessed as far as the opportunity to play seasons with limited injuries. We had Caden Cochran, a sophomore, was injured at the beginning of the season and did not get to play from a knee injury. Other than that, the only game that we've really been without is one game with Noah last week, and it did have an impact on us. But I'm really excited about what Coach Evans is doing in the weight room with our kids and creating a durable player, and we're really proud of that.
Okay, Week 9, final thoughts.
No, just I mean, we're excited about going. I mean, it's football weather, it's the football atmosphere. You've got college and NFL going on. We're a small part of that, But like I tell them every Friday night, everybody across the nation is playing high school football, and it's cool to be a part of it. So we're ready to get on the bus. I mean, we're ready to go. Let's just say that.
All right. Thanks so much, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be back. Well, hello, everybody. Guy Wehman along with Rick Hasty, and as we do each and every week, we kind of look at what's going on in some of the college games. And, Rick, last weekend there were some really good games. Mizzou, Kentucky, and Washington and Oregon, probably two of the finer games on the weekend.
Well, it was one of the games that we really thought that Mizzou had shown the capability of playing with the big boys. Kentucky was a big boy.
Yeah.
All right, and for them to win the game handedly, all right, it was really very, very showing that they are able to play with the big boys and continue to play.
Drinkwitz, he's starting to prove his mettle, isn't he? And everybody had their doubts, and it's like, well, this guy's not living up to it. But you take a couple of years, he's now starting to put his system into play.
Well, like anybody, any coach has a system. It's a system that he was hired by. So he hires assistants that are familiar with his system.
And that's going to implement his system.
Absolutely. Like that. So consequently, the system, you can have some of the best players, all right, and the system just doesn't work for them. All right. So that changed while you're in there for 4 or 5 years, all right, especially for college. It's a big, big step.
Well, college, it seems like once you get into a college and if they like you, you got longevity there, probably more guarantee there than you do in the pros.
Well, the pros itself, contracts for most of them are not guaranteed. So it's something to where a lot of the new contracts that are coming out, these guys are smart enough to say, okay, I got a 4-year deal, but 90% of it was, insured or guaranteed, all right, to make sure that I got paid, no matter what I did.
Michigan, with Harbaugh up there, but then you have Alabama, what's going on there with Nick Saban now. He's not been doing well this year, and there's some talk that Alabama, the fathers that be down there and the boosters and everything, they're eventually, if he doesn't start pulling things around, they're going to say, Nick, it's probably time for you to retire.
Well, and that's something that every coach is faced with, all right? Not only is their ego, somewhat adjusted, all right, they have to turn around and win because the alumni or the boosters, all right, are putting the pressure on him.
And he's making a lot of cash.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, if he's not the top, he's one of the top.
All right, let's look at one of the feature games here. Let's start at the top. UCF at Oklahoma. Oklahoma number 6. That's in that top 10. And what ESPN, or the 4-letter network, as we like to say, and it's good to remember, they own the NCAA football championship. This is not belonging, it's not like basketball where it's the NCAAs that own that. This is manufactured by that TV network.
Well, it's also something to where, we always talk about big boys, all right? The stations are now getting to be big boys, all right? And they're swallowing up virtually anything and everything out there so they can control, all right? They negotiate the contracts with the sponsors. So it's one of those things like this is that it's no surprise that the NFL is involved quite heavily.
Yeah, and going back to the college football championship game and that whole series there, you're looking at inroads by Fox. You're looking at inroads by CBS and a number of these other networks there that are making some cuts into the ESPN market. You're also looking at Disney and Bob Iger, and what he's saying is that he now wants to start to downsize Disney to make it a leaner machine and making it right maybe for a buy-off or whatever, but that means ABC is going to be gone, and that means ESPN is going to be a spin-off as well. That'll make Disney more lean to do what it wants to do. So ESPN, even though they get a lot of money from cable systems, they're going to have to now rely on something else.
Yeah, I mean, many years ago when Disney had purchased the rights to ESPN. It was something at that time. You're talking about, again, somebody there was a big boy, now went to a big boy.
That was a juggernaut.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was huge. And they can control anything. I mean, if you've gone to Disney at all, Boardwalk Baseball has a restaurant down there, ESPN. And it's just one of those things to where I agree with you. I think it's something to where Disney and Mickey and Minnie will always be there, but they might be wearing helmets.
Well, no, they want to focus more on their theme parks because they're starting to understand, okay, we have the movies, but the movies generate the theme parks, which generates the crowds, and then they sell the merch. Hey, let's get back to football, though. UCF at number 6, Oklahoma. Oklahoma should take that one handily.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the way they played against Texas, it was one of those things where, quite honestly, they showed that they're the better team. And I think that Oklahoma, which wasn't even ranked in the top of at the beginning of the year, in the top 25. Mm-hmm. All right, I don't know if you remember or not, but I said that's crazy. Oklahoma's always strong.
Yeah.
All right, so right now, like this is being ranked 6th. All right, that's about right. That's about where they should be.
They in Texas are they're pretty much the hub of what that Big 12 was surrounded by. So when you have Oklahoma and Texas, now you had Oklahoma State, you had some of these other ones there, but those are the two primary ones that the Big 12 was all kind of hubbed around.
Well, you've got a lot of conferences right now. The Pac-12 used to be the Pac-10.
Right now they're falling apart.
Yeah. So, I mean, everybody is jumping ship, and they're going to where the money's at, and that just kind of proves what we're talking about. A lot of schools, all right, want to generate income from that, and the only way they can do it is TV revenues.
Let's talk about the Pac-12. We got to get to the games, but this is a good discussion that we're having here because Washington and Oregon, they played last week. Now, there are other teams in that Pac-12 that saw that matchup and saw the national attention that it got, and they're saying, maybe we jumped ship from the Pac-12 too early because those two teams, when they fought it out, that was one of the best games of the weekend.
Well, and it's something that money drives virtually everything, but I agree with you. I think some of the guys will look back, some of the schools will say, have we overstepped our means?
Yeah.
All right, we can be a top 2 or 3 in our conference, and we can get a bowl bid. And when we go to the bowl, we're going to win.
And you see, that game got what they want more than anything was eyeballs.
Yep.
They want the money. There's no doubt about it. But they thought that they were neglected because they're on the West Coast and the time change and all the games were late. But that game was so good that if you put a competitive product on the field like Washington and Oregon had that night, wow, that was a good contest.
Well, the attention has been given to Alabama, Oklahoma.
And that's because the four-letter network built up the SEC.
Yeah, but right now, quite honestly, they're talking about Alabama losing 3 games. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
All right. So what we were talking about with pressure being put on, it's time to evaluate yourself.
All right, well, let's look at the pressure. Penn State and Ohio State. This is a big one. This is the Fox feature game, and it's in the afternoon. Penn State is in an uproar. They said, we wanted that feature game at night. And they're mad at Fox for putting it in the day. Normally they want that night game because that's more of the feature game. But actually in the shoe, and you know what I'm talking about, the horseshoe there, when Penn State goes into Ohio State, that is a beautiful scene at noon on a Saturday.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Again, if you're in the Ohio area, you want to make sure that you get a chance to speak about the game, and you have to go to one of the games to really appreciate it.
Who do you think is going to take that, Penn State or Ohio State? It's going to be one of the best games of the weekend.
I may get thrown out of the state of Ohio, but I think Penn State's going to win this.
Linebacker you.
Yeah. They've been on fire all year, and Ohio State has shown moments of glory. All right.
Yeah, but they've shown some weakness spots.
They did. And so I think that Penn State is going to go into Ohio State, which is the toughest place really to play. That and Michigan, all right, are 2 of the harder stadiums to win in. And the home team advantage, all right, usually wins out. But I think that Penn State, as hot as they are, as mad as they are right now, like you said, All right, I got a good feeling that Penn State's going to come in there. Now, nobody in Ohio will ever speak to me again, but that's all right.
Well, that's okay. Neither does your mother-in-law. All right. Mizzou is having a bye this week, so there's no Mizzou game. But we also have two other Missouri games. We've got Southeast Missouri State at Tennessee Tech.
Southeast Missouri State, again, I don't want to say they're the orphan child, but they're the second on the list. All right, everybody looks at Mizzou. They've played extremely well. All right, and I think the game itself, Tennessee Tech is a school, and this is right outside of Nashville, and it's one of those things that they're a good school, but I don't think they're as good as what they're going to run into.
All right, Murray State, they're traveling to Murray State to Missouri State. Those are a couple tongue twisters, and that's a 1 o'clock start.
Missouri State, again, is probably the number 2 team in the state. And where Southeast Missouri gets kind of pushed a little bit to the side, all right, Missouri State also has, but they've had real good recruiting.
Yeah.
All right, so it's something to where I would look for Missouri State to win this game against Murray.
Yeah. Okay. Washington State. Now, this is not Washington, the Huskies. This is Washington State. They're at Oregon. Oregon's number 9. They were defeated by Washington last week. Oregon, I look for them to come out blazing.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's an element. You can lose one game and still get bowl invitations, but you start
Well, you're
losing.
talking key bowl.
Key
because
bowls.
you have to win at least 50% of your games to actually get an invitation.
Well, not only that, but it's also something where the money revenue is like cut by 75, 80%. So the university's putting as much pressure on the football team to win because they count on that money. They count on that revenue. But I think that Oregon and Phil Knight sponsorship, all right, should probably do well.
All right, the Vols, 17 Tennessee at number 11 Alabama. They're outside of the top 10 this week.
That's the game right there, quite honestly. It's going to make or break Alabama's year.
Oh, okay.
All right. It's something to where if they go
because
down.
We've got probably another month of football left to go. Actually, it's around Thanksgiving is when you think they're ending.
The advantage itself is going to be with Alabama because they're playing at home. All right. But it's also something like this is Tennessee has been playing very good. All right. That's almost a rivalry between the state of Tennessee and the state of Alabama. All right. They're so close in that. It's like, Alabama and Auburn, Tennessee. It's one of those things that I think Tennessee will come in this week and like that and play good. Don't be surprised. It's probably going to be a field goal between the two.
All right, that's an SEC game. Now let's go over to a Big Ten game. We're talking Minnesota at Iowa. Iowa's still ranked at 24, just inside the top 25 there, and the Gophers and the Hawkeyes.
Iowa played real well. All right. I watched the game, and it was one of those things where I was a little bit surprised of where they were at the time. And they came back, and they ended up pulling it out. So this weekend, Minnesota has played a lot of top talent this year.
But Minnesota has not been playing their best ball this year. They've been losing way too many. And I think the coach is good, but I think this is a slump year for them.
Well, you start getting players that start looking at their win-losses. And it's one of those things, quite honestly, you can't blame them, all right? They're catching a lot of stuff from other students at the school. But I think it's something that's more pride than anything. And when you're getting beat constantly, all right, no matter who you're playing, pressure comes on you. So I would be really surprised this week, and that Minnesota and Iowa don't, again, within about a field goal range.
All right, let's kind of get through a couple of these other ones here. Oklahoma State at West Virginia. Who do you think?
I think Oklahoma State's going to win this game, and
even though that's always been a good game, the Cowboys against the Volunteers.
Well, they're very good.
Or is it the Mountain Men? I forget.
Mountaineers.
Mountaineers.
All right. It's one of those things that to where Oklahoma State is probably as good as Oklahoma in a lot of respects. There's been some great players that's come out of Oklahoma State. But it's something to where right now Oklahoma's got the lead to it. Oklahoma State beat Kansas 39-32. And so, again, they're showing they got the capabilities of playing. And so I would say this weekend, I like Oklahoma State.
You know, Oklahoma, the Sooners down there in Norman, and then you have Oklahoma State, they're up in Stillwater, up in the top part of the state. And Oklahoma State, the Cowboys, they always feel like they're the neglected one,
Right.
that the Sooners always get all the major attention and everything, and they always have like a chip on their shoulder when they play. And you kind of feel it because they come out there and they're a little more abrasive and they say, we're going to get it done.
Well, they've had some pretty good running backs.
Yes, they have.
Sanders, I think that's kind of a name that kind of slaps with people.
He's got a lot of rib houses in Oklahoma.
But, it's something to where Oklahoma is the draw, and it's close to Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
So Norman itself has got a little bit closer geographics, probably a little bit better.
But it's right up on
support.
35 to Stillwater. It's not that far.
No.
Okay, Wisconsin, Illinois. Who do you pick?
I like, right now, I'm going to go with Wisconsin.
Yeah, I would too. Okay. Number 8, Texas at Houston. This is a Fox game. It's in the middle of the afternoon on Saturday. Tim Brando production. What do you think is going to happen here?
Texas is going to win this one,
Yep.
and I think they're going to win it big.
Okay, Ole Miss at Auburn. We bring this one up, 13 ranked Ole Miss. Auburn is always that fighting, they're a tiger. You got the Mizzou Tigers, and you have the Auburn Tigers. You have the LSU Tigers. Tigers are all over the place.
Tiger in your tank.
Yeah, Lions and Tigers and Bears. Oh, my.
That's it.
All right, just a couple more games here. Duke at Florida State. This is an ABC game on Saturday night, and it'll be 6:30 here in the Central Time Zone, 7:30 Eastern. Florida State, number 4. Should be a good game, but Florida should take that.
That's right. I mean, Duke has played some very good competition this year, but Florida State is in a different category.
Okay. Number 2, Michigan. And that number 2, Michigan, they're just outside. I should say Ohio State's outside because Ohio State's got number 3. But they're Michigan and Michigan State. That's an interstate rival. That's the NBC Big Ten Saturday night game.
Well, that again is an area where not only the competition between Michigan and Ohio State, but Michigan State interstate, all right, they got to win that game. Michigan's got to win that game.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, for not only bragging rights, but recruiting rights.
Yeah.
So I would say that Michigan's going to win that one big time.
Wolverines against Sparty. Okay, there's Army at LSU. We're going to skip by that one because I believe the bigger game that we have left here on our sheet is Utah versus USC. 14th-ranked Utah. USC's ranked number 18. Why do I say that? Because the Utes always play tough. And USC, they come up over that hill there, and, that a lot of good teams have come out of USC, the Trojans.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a receiver heaven. And then all of a sudden, you also look at the fact that it's got just great running backs, good defense, good linebackers. I mean, everything about USC is strong.
Well, if you want to go into movies, Harmon, with NCIS, he went to USC.
Yeah.
So he's that good-looking quarterback that says, I want to do that. Frank Gifford says, I want to go someplace. And, so a lot of talent has come out of there, not only football-wise, but also as far as the screen goes.
Well, the only thing they haven't brought out has been real good quarterbacks. All right? Running backs, wide receivers,
Yep.
linebackers, they're strong. All right, always have been. But the quarterback's been the biggest question like that. And I would look at this game here. I agree with you. Utah is going to show them, all right, they're going to have to beat them.
Yeah, the Utes.
I would venture to say USC should win this game. But the way they played against Missouri, quite honestly, Missouri should have won that game. So I think that, Utah, I'm going to go with Utah.
Yeah, well, yeah, I will too. All right, that kind of does it for the college portion of the Tailgate Game Day Show. And next week will be our final week of the show, unless some of the other teams, like the volleyball and softball team, they go on to states, and we will stay active on the show here until they complete their season. So we've already seen the School of the Osage, them winning state championships. We applaud them. And right now, going into states is the softball team of Camdenton. So we're going to stick with them as long as they do. But next week will be kind of like a wrap-up week for the program. We're going to take a time out. We'll be back. Well, that wraps it up for this week's edition of the Tailgate Game Day Show. We're talking week number 9. One more week to go. In week number 10, we'll kind of do a wrap-up, and then we'll see where the teams are in their quest for state. And most of the teams, as far as softball and volleyball, they will be wrapping up their season as of next week. Thanks so much for joining us. Now stay tuned for the games coming up. And if you have not already, subscribe to the channel. That really helps us out. Hit the thumbs up button, and that's a like. And then hit the bell when we will notify you when future programs begin. Thanks again for watching. This is Tailgate Game Day.